Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Tuesday, June 8th, 2010. This morning we're going to learn how to extend the browser to add a new tab to this area. You'll notice that when you start up the browser in VisualWorks or Object Studio, you get a bunch of tabs there already, and you can load various extensions like this regex one I loaded to just figure out how to do this as things you can load in to extend the browser further. Now, to figure that out, what you need to do is you create a new category or package here, and I have to extend something here. I have to extend class code model. Before I get there though, let me go to this new class I added, Browser Print Hierarchy. You'll notice that when I selected the class, this new tab showed up. So I have this deselected, it's not there. I select it, it's there. And what a functionality I've added is there's a method called Print Hierarchy that in VisualWorks 5i, this was a tab in the browser that showed you the hierarchy view. We had a customer ask, how do I get that back? Well, that's the purpose of this screencast, is to show you that. What you need to do is you create a new class, and you want to subclass it eventually from browser.codeTool. That's important for API purposes. Then as far as the APIs you have to support, you want to have a tab name so that the thing will show up with a name. And then you need to have an isActive, which tells the system under what circumstances should this tab show up. Should it be when the package is selected? Should it be when a method is selected? Should it be when a class is selected? To figure that out, you want to go to the hierarchy and figure out what the APIs are. Here for class selection, I said self, class, or namespace, not nil, because I can show a hierarchy for either classes or namespaces. So if the class or namespace is not nil, show the tab, otherwise don't. There are similar APIs for whether a method is selected or not, for whether a package is selected or not, and you can have your tab show up under whatever circumstances you want. Just make sure you have an isActive. By default, it'll be false, so once you create your subclass and add the extension code that I'll show you in a moment into code model, nothing will happen because by default the system will tell you don't ever show your tab, so you need to implement this method. The other thing you need to do is go to code model class, create an extension called something higher, whatever tool class, have this pragma tool added, and then just tell it what tool to use. So this is an API point that tells the system, I have a new tool, here's the class to pull for it. When I have a browser open, I look at the isActive method to find out whether it's active or not, and either shove it in there or don't, depending. So these are the API points. Have this here as the entry point, and then subclass the right class here, ultimately browser.codeTool, and add your API points, the tab name, and whether it's active. Now as far as the rest of it goes, it's just straight VisualWorks type code. Here I have my post build method. I just grab the current class or namespace from the code model and slam into the text class or namespace print hierarchy, which is an API point that's already in the system, and all it does is do this. It shows the hierarchy. So that's really all there is to extending the browser. Now you can get more complicated, of course, in terms of what kind of code goes in here. If I go back to my source code, whatever goes here is whatever you want your tab to do. For instance, if you go to the bytecode tool, it does something a lot more sophisticated here and draws a more interesting view here. But it's all pretty much the same as long as you follow these simple rules I covered today. So that's about it. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.